Very good. Chair now recognizes Ms. McClain from Michigan for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you all for being here on this very important topic. I think what is encouraging is if you look around, we all agree finally there's a problem and it needs to be fixed, right? Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, what color your skin is, what race, we have a problem, which is wonderful. Now we can get down to the business to fixing it. What I want to make sure that we first understand is to make sure I understand it correctly. And if I'm correct, pharmacy benefit managers were originally meant to facilitate negotiations, really to drive the cost of prescription drugs down for their patients. Correct? I mean, originally, I don't think it was done with malice. That was the original. However, PBMs, it seems like, has evolved into middlemen with an outsized role in the pharmaceutical marketplace, operating really behind the scenes to manipulate drug costs, control access to certain medications, and ultimately decide the payment pharmacies receive for all of their own benefits. So it seems that it's switched. Am I directionally tracking?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's switched. The main driver is still big pharma, but to your point, there's all these other ways they're trying to make money. The PBMs are trying to make money. That's distorting that original.
I mein, the largest PBMs control 80% of the market, right? Each own their own pharmacies, disincentivizing negotiations and enabling them to further benefit really from higher prices. So I have a good understanding of what it was and what it's evolved to now. Mr. Baker, real quick, what do you believe the #1 goal, a priority should be?
Yes, thank you. I think we've used the word transparency quite a bit here today as witnesses. The other thing I think is important to point out, we have tried to say as a public benefit corporation, how are we going to be a completely unconflicted PBM? So how am I going to make sure I'm always making decisions in the right vein for our clients and their members? And I think a big part of that is we've made this decision never to own our own pharmacy. I think the day I start deciding what I pay myself, conflict can occur, and that's not a really good thing.
Okay.
My mail order pharmacy, if I were to have one, again, does not provide the same level of service as we clearly get from independent and other community pharmacies. And we think the overall healthcare picture needs to be viewed, not just an insular profit I can make off a drug that I dispense for my own.
So who would benefit from increased transparencies in the PBM world?
I think the American corporation would benefit greatly by knowing what they're actually paying for medications and being able to competitively figure out if they want to continue doing what they're doing. I think the American taxpayer would benefit greatly from that as well.
Why do you think the PBMs are against transparency? I can't figure that out.
We hide behind the term proprietary a lot in this industry. Everything's proprietary, everything's hidden. It's going to hurt my ability to negotiate and really get this better price. I think we've heard that so long. I personally am callous to it. Everybody likes to
Do you believe that?
I do not, no.
Okay.
I think we can look at the facts, and costs go up every year. So we can continue doing what we're doing, and guess what? Costs are going to go up.
Right.
Now's the time we need to try to do
And
something.
just a really point of clarification, which is, it is true that when a PBM negotiates a better price for from a drug maker, that unveiling that price is probably not the best thing. But that's what they're using as a red herring. We need to know, for example, an employer who's paying for their services needs to know. And there's a way to keep that private and still make sure that there's safeguards over there.
And I appreciate that. In the interest of time, because I only have a minute left, what I'm trying to make a correlation to is we all agree there's a problem, which I think is dogs and cats living together. Okay. In order to fix a problem, I think we have to fully understand what the problem is. And the more data and the more we can see, right, the more transparency there is, will help us figure out which lever to pull to fix the problem. Would y'all agree with that?
Yes.
It's amazing to me, and it always seems like when we don't want to be transparent, I mean, I come from the financial planning world. We have to be transparent. We have a prospectus that we have to give all of our clients to see where our dollars come from. That was mandated by Congress. Quite simply, do you think if we made the PBMs or this process more transparent, do you think that would help us identify the problems to get to the best solution?
Yes, and I love your analogy around financial services. Everybody knows the prospectus and what is happening on those. When it comes to healthcare, self-funded employers do not put that out, right? They don't know how to say, here's the profit being made, here's the fees, here's everything accounted. So you plan participant knows that information. I think that's a great analogy.
And it leads to a lot of mistrust as well. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, witnesses. I yield back.
Chair now recognizes Ms. Lee from Pennsylvania for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm excited to be able to talk about something in this committee that's actually meaningful to American people, lowering prescription drug costs and increasing access